It's that time of the year again where those folks at Gamejolt get their bear on. But which bear will bear the title of the Bear of the Week 2017? That's what we're here to find out at the Gamejolt Bear Pageant. The pageant is brought to you by Koala Koala, that Koala Cola taste. It gives you the 5,113 hour energy to keep you going straight through winter hibernation. Now it's time to release the bears. First up, in a lovely summer pelt, magnifying glass bear. Is it looking for clues or on a search for some grubs? Bears eat many types of insects, including caterpillars, beetles, ants, and even bees in the pursuit of sweet honey. Luckily, black bears aren't bothered by a bee sting, so they can have all the honey they can find. Next up is squiggly face bear. That squiggly is called an Arabic ray. It's a math symbol used to denote radius. It's actually an abbreviation for a slightly longer squiggly line. The closest thing to an Arabian bear is a Middle Eastern bear, called the Syrian brown bear, which, if you couldn't guess, is native to Syria. A famous Syrian brown bear was Wojtek, the soldier bear. He was officially drafted as a soldier at the rank of private in the Polish land forces from 1943 to 1945, so that he would be supplied with rations and transportation. What's over there? Why, it's looking slightly to the left bear. That's our left and its right. What could it be looking at? There's a myth that polar bears are left-pawed, but scientists say they have no more of a tendency to use either paw than humans would do if they had paws. So there are left-pawed polar bears, but there are also right-pawed polar bears. Why that myth began, I don't know, but perhaps it's similar to the way water circles in a different direction down plug holes in each hemisphere. Next, sporting a swim pelt is bear. There are 8 main categories of bear. I'm sure you can name black bears, brown bears, polar bears, and panda bears, but do you know about sun bears, moon bears, spectacled bears, and sloth bears? We did of course miss of that list the most fierce bear of them all, the koala bear. Koala Koala contains your whole daily recommendations of eucalyptus. What's that? Eucalyptus is a poison to anything other than koalas? Well, in that case, I would suggest you drink Diet Koala Koala instead. I can tell our next bear has had their fill of Koala Koala. It's Yum Bear. That licking lips mouth is another Arabic symbol, a dotless fa, the equivalent to F. The placement of the dots or absences of the dots changes the pronunciation of letters, but I don't know what being dotless does to this particular letter. So here's something I do know. The Arabic word for bear sounds something like Yata Hamalo. Next up is magic bear. There is a superstition that if a bear is shot, it will plug the wound with its own hair. There's another superstition that the earlier a bear goes into the den, the harder the winter will be. It's lucky to meet a bear in Norway. It is told that a bear preserves its health by eating ants. The Thlinklets, Alaskan Native Americans, believe bears are human souls in the form of animals. But if all bears are humans disguised as animals, what animal are they disguised as? That all came from the Encyclopedia of Superstitions, Folklore, and the Occult Sciences of the World, Volume 2. With its paws in the air like it just don't care. Next is Star-Eyed Kissy Face Bear. There are of course 2 bear constellations, Ursa Major and Ursa Minor. There's a bunch of astrology stuff and mythology stuff I could tell you about those, but I won't because those paws are the high symbol of Kokon. This symbol is no longer in use. There's some confusion as to what it means in certain contexts. The earliest recordings of this symbol was on a stone that had something to do with King Rakamahang. Next up is Dimple Bear. Dimple Bear enjoys eating berries, eating fish, eating bugs, and then hibernating for the winter. Other than pandas, spectacled bears are the only bears with spots on their face, which is why they're called spectacled bears, because it looks like they have on white glasses. And now we have another bear. This is a different bear. It's actually an extremely common name for bears. So if you could please remember to keep track of these 2 bears with the same name, remember they are different bears. Who's next? Why, it's Bear. I assure you, each of these bears have very diverse and unique personalities. So if you just get to know them, you should have no trouble in remembering them for who they are. It's Surprise Bear. Here's a fun fact, you should never sneak up on a bear and yell boo. You will die. Speaking of dangerous bears, it's Punch Bear. You know when a bear fights, it puffs out its fur and stands on its hind legs to look bigger. Humans have similar traits, but over the years of evolution, it doesn't really work like it used to. That trait is of course goosebumps. When you get goosebumps and your hair stands on its ends, it's your body trying to look bigger. It just lacks the thick fur of a primate to make it work. Now we have Glint Bear. Glint Bear has a ball of light. Did you know polar bear fur has some of the properties of optical fibers? The individual hairs aren't white. They only appear to be white when they're all together because of the way they refract light. Individual polar bear hairs are actually transparent. I wonder what the broadband speed of a polar bear is. Next we have Terminator Bear. Terminator Bear can actually time travel. If Terminator Bear went back in time, it would discover a type of bear that is now extinct, the cave bear. Unlike brown bears, which only use caves to hibernate, cave bears chill out in their caves all year round. Cave bears were also primarily herbivores, but they also would occasionally eat a Homo sapien or two. But the most interesting thing about cave bears is that the early humans worshipped them as gods, which is ironic because early humans are the reason cave bears are extinct today. Next we have Lenny Bear. I have no interesting facts relevant to this. Now it's Sleepy Bear. You probably all know that bears hibernate during the winter. Except you're wrong. Wake up, sheeple! Bears don't actually hibernate like other mammals, which is like more of a coma. Hibernating animals won't react to loud noises or being shaken around. But what bears do is actually called torpor. You can wake up a sleeping bear during the winter. Hibernating animals also get really cold to match the air temperature, whereas bears heat up. All that being said, it's very semantic and I don't feel like saying torporing instead of hibernating, so we're gonna go with hibernating. And the final bear to introduce is Flex Bear. Here's a fun fact. Did you know bears are very strong? Like, very, very strong. Bears actually have the most developed scapular and deltoid arrangements of any carnivore, which is why they have those big humps over their front legs. Now that we've finished the introductions, let's get to know our bears. Let's start with something easy. We asked each bear what their favorite bear pun was. Magnifying Glass Bear didn't seem to like this question. They answered, unbearable. Squiggly Face Bear also had something to say on this. Puns are unbearable. Looking slightly to the left, Bear said, that's very good. What it was referring to, I don't know. Perhaps it's something to do with whatever it's looking at over to the left of the stage. Bear didn't prepare very well and answered, bear with me. I will think of a pun soon. Unfortunately, the time limit ran out, and we'll have to accept that as their final answer. Yum Bear was another bear that didn't like this question. They responded with, this is barely eligible as a question. Magic Bear seems to have personal issues. They answered, I am forever alone. We didn't know this many people had problems with puns. Star-eyed Kissy Face Bear said, I can barely stand buns. Dimple Bear said, if I were a whale, I'd call it an unbearable experience. Bear didn't prepare very well and answered, I have to check. Bear with me. Unfortunately, the time limit ran out, and we'll have to accept that as their final answer. Bear answered, grr, grr, grr. Surprise Bear is surprisingly political. They answered, the right to bear arms. Punch Bear said, I can barely come up with anything. Flint Bear said, barbarian. Terminator Bear went for a double pun. They answered, sorry, I'm only a beginner when it comes to bear puns. Please bear with me. Lenny Bear said, Sleepy Bear gave us a fun fact. Did you know bears walk barefoot? No, I did not know that. Thank you, Sleepy Bear. I'm not sure if Flex Bear's answer is actually a pun or if it's just literal. They said, well, to say that I have to type with my bare hands. Now, jokes aside, let's see how spiritual these bears. We asked them, what is the essence of being a bear? You would think Magnifying Glass Bear would be a bit more articulate, but they answered, this is very hard to put into words. And indeed it is, but we wanted you to do it anyways. Squiggly Face Bear answered, to encourage a strong community growth. Bears form bonds. They live in unity. Looking slightly to the left, Bear responded with, to be a bear, you must be a berry bear bear. That is a bear. Bear said that the essence of being a bear was fat and don't have to do work. Yum Bear said, fosh, slop, growl, smack. Magic Bear said the essence of being a bear was honey. Star-eyed Kissy Face Bear said it was being a bear. Dimple Bear answered, to be a bear is to be powerful and knowledgeable. Brains and brawn should work together. Bear said, beer. Bear said, Surprise Bear responded with, bears are the most charming member of the mammal family. They lots of personality and spunk. Punch Bear said, catching fish from a river and scratching your back on trees. Glint Bear told us it was inner bloodthirstiness. Terminator Bear said, the essence of being a bear isn't just being a bear or having fur. It's all about how you can work together with other bears to do something great. Lenny Bear said, Sleepy Bear answered with, your inner bear is bear. And Flex Bear said, a bear is great, amazing in fact. Every good game character is a bear. Super Bear. Now for an important question. What would these bears do to improve whale relations? This one is a very divisive subject. Magnifying Glass Bear said, with a bear hug. Squiggly Face Bear said bears should coexist with whales, for one cannot be without the other. Whale Week may prove to be the ultimate form of peace. Looking slightly to the left, Bear responded with, make peace with bears and whales. Bear replied with their middle claw. Yum Bear said, fish slap. Magic Bear said, I would make a wall around Whale City and make whales pay for it. But as we all know, the whales do not have a city, they don't even have a home. They just swim around the world endlessly. Star-eyed Kissy Face Bear also said, build a wall. Dimple Bear said, by outsmarting the whales in a non-physically harming way. Bear said, it's unbearable. Good observation. Bear said, grrr. Surprise Bear answered with, I think a two-state solution can be achieved, and peace can be had among all bears and whales. The whales have helped us bears in the past, so we can overcome our differences and live in a world where bears and whales coexist. Punch Bear said, beat 'em up so they can barely think. Glint Bear simply responded with violence. Terminator Bear said, bears represent all things good in the world, while whales are just pure evil. But if bears and whales could coexist together, we would cancel out the evil and make something beautiful. Lenny Bear. Sleepy Bear said, I would get to the President Donald Bear and Kim Whale-un to agree to never mess with each other. And Flex Bear said, personally, I would try to become friends with the whale. Besides, they are no match for a grizzly bear. That's all the questions done, so these bears' last way to impress the judges is with their special skills. What is Magnifying Glass Bear's special skill? Well, when asked, it responded with, bear with me on this one. I don't know. Squiggly Bear's special skill is procrastination. And that was some lovely procrastination from Squiggly Bear. Looking slightly to the left, Bear's special skill is being a bear and making games. Bear's skill is eating very good honey. We asked Yum Bear what its special skill was. It responded with Fosh Slop Smack. Magic Bear's special skill is magic stuff. Star-eyed Kissy Face Bear's skill is playful existential confusion. Dimple Bear's skill is having an extreme amount of knowledge at a young age. Bear's skill is teleporting. Wait, what? Bear's skill is... Surprise Bear's skill is translating the facial expressions and body language of bears into English. Punch Bear said, I can climb up a tree and eat a whole beehive. Glint Bear said, I can dual wield a katana. You mean you can dual wield two katanas? You can't dual wield one katana. Unless you can. In which case, wow, who's actually doing it? Terminator Bear said, I'm a time-traveling bear, and I'm here to save Bear Week. I can't tell you much, but the whales are planning something big. Really big. Lenny Bear. Sleepy Bear can perform the Hunter's Dance. And finally, Flex Bear's skill is making YouTube videos and making games. That is the end of the pageant, but a winner will not yet be announced. A panel of judges will decide a winner, and a part 2 will be posted when that happens. But until then, we'll put a poll in the description to track which bears are the most popular with the crowd.